I used to think that if my life didn't look like a highlight reel, that I was doing something maybe wrong. Like real fulfillment had to come with like the fireworks or some big shift or wild adventure or breakthrough moment where like I finally make it feel like everything was worth it. But what I was really dealing with was this magic blindness. I was so focused on what I was missing that like or like maybe what I would change that I completely overlooked the most incredible things that were already happening right in front of me every single day. And so today we're diving into how you can find the magic that's hiding inside of the life that you already have without needing to change your like any of your circumstances. You know, it's this wonder recovery method that you can do. And so with that, I'll just say welcome to the Giver Method channel. My name is Jake. So glad you're able to join me. Now let me just frame this up by asking you something real quick. Have you ever looked around and thought, how is everyone else like just living these amazing lives that's so filled with purpose? Like, well, I'm stuck in this like loop of the same routine every single day. Or maybe you've had that moment of thinking like, man, I'm checking all the boxes. Like I've got a good job, my family's good, obligations taken care of. But like when did life just feel so flat? Like when did it stop feeling meaningful? Or even maybe you fall into the bucket of like, thinking something like, I used to be excited about the future, and now I'm just going through the motions, waiting for something big to finally happen to me. Now, if any of that sounds familiar, just know you're not alone. Like you're not behind, there's nothing broken or anything, and you're definitely not living a life that doesn't count. You're just dealing with this like wonder or magic blindness where joy, meaning, sacrifice that you're or significance that you're craving is already happening all around you, but you've stopped noticing it. You've stopped realizing it because it's dressed up like laundry and emails or traffic or dishes. I mean, maybe you're a parent who feels like you've lost touch with your own identity in the whirlwind of raising kids. And you're wondering like if you'll have to wait until they're completely grown before you can finally chase your real dreams. Or maybe you're an entrepreneur who feels like, only way to reconnect with your passion or purpose is to blow everything up and start from, start over the business or scale way bigger than you can handle right now. Or maybe you're working away at that 9-to-5 job and you're thinking to yourself, like, until I leave this job or get that next title, nothing really matters. Nothing's going to change. Now, but here's what I've come to believe, and I deeply personally believe this, like, and that through walking this road with so many people, I've learned, like I said, myself and with so many other people, what I've learned is that the magic you're chasing isn't sitting in some future version of your life. Like it's already here, it's right in front of you. And so I want to dive into that today. Now, my name is, like I said, Jake Talbert. I'm the founder, I'm the author of this book. It's called The Giver Method. It is available on Amazon, and it is designed to help people to uncover their gifts, turn those into superpowers, create more influence and impact in their world, more value for the people around them, have better relationships and engagements. Once again, biggest thing is like you can live a more fulfilled life, have more joy and delight in your life. And so I highly recommend you go get yourself a copy. This is the best, like right now you can get it for $2 to $10 on Amazon. I'll put a link in the description. It's $2 for the digital, $10 for the physical book. But that's the best $2 to $10 that you could invest in yourself right now. I promise you it will change your life. And it's great because, it's designed for people like you. I wrote everything kind of grounded in my story, and I've walked similar paths to you. I'm a parent. I've got 3 kids, I'm an entrepreneur, and I've worked in that corporate sphere, so I understand the path you're on. And so all of the different stories and things that I'm talking about are grounded in that. And of course, all of the exercises, action items, the things that are in there, people love the book. It's getting tons of 5-star reviews from the people buying it. And the reason is that the action items and exercises are designed for what fits into your life as a parent, an entrepreneur, someone who's working away. So go get yourself a copy of it. It's designed to help you where you don't have to just go blow everything up to get the life that you want. So I'll put the link in the description, or you could pause the video, go right over to Amazon, get yourself a copy. Like I said, The Giver Method by Jake Talbert. Go ahead and get yourself a copy. It's the best $2 to $10 that you could possibly invest in yourself. Now, a few years ago, one of the stories that I love to ground, and it's actually in the book, it's like that really applies to this idea of wanting more meaning and looking for more meaningful things, around me. Is during the pandemic, and I volunteered at church to help stream our Sunday services. And I thought I was just, hey, I'm going to set up the cables and get everything plugged in, the cameras, make sure, tech stuff that I'm used to because I've got cameras and microphones and things like that. Like, I thought I was just doing, something that's so normal to me, nothing life-changing. And then I got a message from somebody who goes to church with us. Her name's Juanita, and she's an elderly woman in the congregation who's been homebound for months. And she told me that the way I set up the live stream, because I had a camera up on whoever was speaking, and then I had cameras out facing the congregation so that they could see who was there, play make sure the music could be heard. She told me that the way I set it up made her feel like she was back with her in her favorite pew again, all around the people that she loved to be with. She said it gave her connection and hope, when she felt the most alone. And it was in that moment that I realized that extraordinary, it doesn't only show up in the big moves or bold changes. It's found in just how you show up for the small things. When you do them with presence and purpose and with heart. And there's tons of data that backs this up as well. Tons of research. I love putting tons of research in the book and in these videos. But there's a bunch of research that says that people who stay present during routine activities feel 40% more satisfied with their life and 33% less stressed. And that's not a cute stat. That's your nervous system, and your fulfillment, your day-to-day reality changing just by being more aware. And so let's change that for you today. In this video, I want to walk you through these 5 simple but really powerful principles that are helping people just like you, parents, entrepreneurs, employees, wake up to the truth that their life is already way more rich with meaning. They just need to have better eyes to see it. I know it's not about pretending that hard stuff isn't happening or that there may not be a lot going on around you. It's just about noticing what's already good, what's already working, and what's already beautiful underneath the busyness. As I mentioned, everything's going to be grounded in the Giver method, which you can, like I said, go get a copy down in the description or on Amazon. It's a framework designed specifically for people like you, because it isn't about inspiration that you forgot. It's about learning to live differently right here, right now. And so, like I said, if this resonates with you, go get yourself a copy. You can always go to thegivermethod.com, check out all the ways that we help people, services, learn more about us, speaking, free resources, all things like that. Now, if you're ready for some more personal support, you're ready, you're tired of feeling like life's passing you by, and you want someone to help you discover that magic that's been there all along, then let's talk about what it looks like in our one-on-one coaching program. It's 8-week program that you can sign up for. You can check out the details. There's a link to the coaching page. Check it out. If it makes sense for us to jump on a call, we can jump on a call. And then, of course, if you run a team, a group, have a platform, an event, whatever, a podcast where people gather, or you bring people together, that this type of message would resonate with them, then I'd love to bring this conversation to them, to your people. Let's talk about what that could look like. There's a link down below that talks about speaking. And then, of course, as always, hit subscribe, ring that bell for notifications. I don't want you to miss out on any of the future content we do, because we do videos all week long. And then, of course, like the video, comment your thoughts along the way so that I can see what lands for you. It helps me make sure that I keep content relevant to you. Now, with that, let's get into it. Let's start uncovering the extraordinary that's been hiding in your ordinary all along. And so the first principle is about this presence shift, okay? How you turn ordinary moments into something that actually fills you up. Because if we're real, most of us are just trying to get through our day, right? We rush through breakfast, while checking our phones. We nod our way through conversations while mentally jumping to the next thing or trying to pre-plan what we're going to say next and not being in that moment. We wonder why life feels so flat, but here's the thing. It's not about doing something different in any sort of way. Sometimes the magic is how you just show up for the stuff that you're already doing. That's this idea, this presence, just your sheer presence of who you are and how you're showing up. This is about one of the simplest things that you can do. Stop multitasking your way through the stuff that matters. What if your regular Tuesday could feel more meaningful? Not because of any big change, but because you just actually noticed it. You don't need to clear out your schedule or move mountains to feel grounded. You just need to pick one everyday activity and decide to be fully in it, just authentically you as a part of that. And so let's talk about how you do that. Let's break it down so that it's ways that make sense for you. Pick one thing, just one period of time, that you're doing. So something that you do every day, like making coffee, driving to work, reading a bedtime story, checking that email, whatever. It doesn't matter what it is. Just choose something. And then for 1 week, bring your full attention to that moment. Be all in. No phone, no mental to-do list, no rushing to the next thing. If it's coffee, notice the smell, the sound of the kettle, the cup is warm in your hands. If it's reading to your kid, actually pay attention to their voice, their curiosity, the fact that you're there. If it's maybe a team meeting, really listen instead of just waiting to talk. Let people feel that you're present in that moment. It's not about being perfect in any way. It's about just being here. And here's the real kicker. The data that's out there shows that presence like this boosts your satisfaction and lowers anxiety. Your day feels better, not because anything changed, but because you changed how you experienced it. And that presence, it's not just for you, it rubs off. Your kids will feel more connected. Your team feels heard from you. Your clients feel more cared about. Presence is like a superpower. When you actually use it, it will shift the entire room. You don't have to wait for your life to feel extraordinary. You just have to show up for it and just be real in that moment. Now, our next principle, the second one, is about the gift spotter, okay? How you see your natural strengths hiding in plain sight. It's one of the sneakiest reasons people feel stuck is because of this. You're already using your gifts, the things that are just you're naturally good at every single day, but you don't realize it. Your strengths have become so second nature that you overlook them and you assume everyone can do what you do, so you downplay and write it off as just normal. Like me setting up tech, streaming Zoom services for church. But what if the thing that you do without thinking, you bring calm to chaos, or maybe you make people feel seen, or you organize the heck out of a messy day, is actually your superpower? Gosh, this is the whole concept. The first principle within the giver method is your gifts becoming superpowers. What if you stopped brushing off your brilliance as just because it doesn't feel hard to you? Stop pushing it aside. This isn't about hyping yourself up for things that don't matter. It's about recognizing that the gifts, they don't have to have perfect conditions to show up. They show up in the middle of you helping with homework, team meetings, client calls, those late night dishes, hard conversations, whatever. Your strengths are already working. You've just been too busy to notice, throughout the day, to notice that they're there. So here's the first move I want you to do. Start with a simple end of the day habit, and it's essentially you've got this daily gift spotting that you want to do, where each night you ask yourself, what came naturally to me today that made things better? And write it down. Just one thing. It doesn't have to be earth-shattering. Maybe you navigated the school morning chaos really well. You still got everyone out the door with hugs and lunches. That's leadership and empathy if I've ever heard it. Maybe you reframed your work problem that you had that was stressing everybody out. Well, gosh, you've got some vision and calm under pressure. Maybe, you made your kid laugh during a meltdown, and that's connection and emotional intelligence at play. And it shows up in so many ways. As parents, pay attention to how you naturally solve problems or calm storms or bring joy to daily mess. These aren't just parenting duties. These are your gifts in action. If you're an entrepreneur, notice how you lead, you pivot, you build trust without even thinking. That's your value, already driving your mission. And if you're an employee, track how you catch errors or keep the team together or bring clarity in chaos, whatever it is. This isn't because you're doing your job. It's your zone of genius showing up inside of a structure, inside the structure that also provides you a paycheck. And this matters because when you start recognizing your gifts, you start reclaiming your purpose. Life doesn't feel wasted or flat. You realize wow, I've been making an impact all along. I just wasn't seeing it. And you can lean even more into that. One of my favorite data points there was a Gallup research thing that said that people who use their strengths regularly, they are more engaged, they are more energized, and way more fulfilled in life. But you can't use them on purpose if you don't actually see them. So start spotting them, start naming them, start owning them. You don't need to wait for this dream job or the ideal situation to feel like you've got purpose. The extraordinary version of you is already in motion. Just stop missing it. It's already there. And then that takes us to the third principle, which is the ripple spotter, okay? How you pay attention to the smallest actions really do create big impact, even if you don't see it. Something that changes everything once you start to see it is the way you show up in ordinary moments right now in the middle of real life, and that they're leaving that bigger impact than you could ever possibly think. That, patient, response that you had to your child's meltdown. It's not just a calming moment, but it's teaching them how to regulate emotions for life. That extra thought that you put into that team message, it might be the one thing that helps someone feel seen or inspired enough to keep going. These aren't just tasks that you're checking off for the day. They're the seeds that you're planting that ripple out way further than you could possibly see. How that impacts your kids, and that will impact how they show up to other people's kids, which changes how they show up in their families, or how your kids will grow up and it'll impact how they show up in work or with their children. How your team shows up when they go home, interact with their spouse, and then how they show up at work. The ripple goes so far you don't even realize. The problem is that most of us miss it. We're so deep in survival mode that you only track what gets finished. The laundry's done, email sent, Zoom call over. But wow, man, you are missing the way the way that you did those things, how present or kind, thoughtful, or grounded you are. Like, that has the ripple effect that sticks with people for so long. And so that's why you got to become like the ripple spotter. You got to start paying attention to that. It's not about doing more. It's about seeing your actions already doing beneath the surface. And so the simple way you bring that to life is start like maybe there's an idea of like a log, like a legacy log or a ripple log that you're keeping, where like just once a week you jot down one moment where something small that you did like may have created a bigger effect. And you may not always have the proof, but document the possibility. You know, that calming presence during a team crisis might have helped someone avoid quitting. That deep conversation during bedtime, that might shape how your kid talks to their kids in the future. You know, if you're a parent, remember, your kids are watching you more than you think. They're listening to you, the way you handle stress, show love, stay consistent. Like that's a blueprint they're absorbing. Entrepreneur, every client experience, every interaction with your team, like those ripple into customer loyalty, culture health, and even like how your industry operates. That's shaping things without even realizing it. If you're in a corporate job, the way you lead meetings or catch details or lift coworkers, like those choices add up. They create momentum and they keep the wheels turning when others want to give up. Because the fastest way to feel like life has more meaning is to just recognize like the meaning that's already there. You know, people who feel like their emotions, like their actions impact others, like they always talk about how they've got higher satisfaction, they feel more purpose, and even when nothing externally changes, just by noticing these things. So stop looking for massive life overhaul. Start seeing the magic already unfolding like through the way that you live, the way you lead, the way you love, the way you show up. You're not just making it through the day, you're shaping someone else's future, maybe even your own legacy, one tiny ripple at a time. And that takes us to our fourth principle. I call it flip the script, all right? You have to shift the story you're telling yourself about where you are right now. Because if we're honest, like your currencies, your current circumstances might not be like what you choose if you had unlimited options available. If you had all the currencies in the world, time, energy, and money, it may not be the circumstances that you choose to pick, right? But here's the truth that nobody talks enough about. The story you're telling yourself about your life often has way more impact than your life itself. Like, it's so easy to fall into mental loops of like, oh gosh, I'm just surviving right now. I'm so like I feel fulfilled when things finally change. Like, gosh, this is just a time or a season. It's just like it's a detour until my real life starts. And the problem with that thinking is it steals the meaning that you're like already sitting inside of in your current life. What if your situation wasn't a detour? It was the proper training grounds. Every season, yes, even the messiest, nastiest ones can be viewed through multiple lenses. Are you stuck at home with kids? Like, are you the most intense leadership boot camp on the planet? Like, are you wasting your talents on a dead end job, or are you building rock solid foundational skills, like resilience or clarity, like that, pays off in your future self? Like, you just have to view what it is. Reframe it. Isn't about pretending it's easy. Thinking that if you're stuck at home with kids isn't some sort of leadership boot camp. It is. It's an amazing leadership boot camp if you approach it that way. Reframe it. You don't pretend things. Like, it's about telling yourself like a version of the story that brings the power back to you. Now, here's how you want to try it. So identify the narrative. What's your narrative? Which one are you running right now? Something like I'm always behind, I'm stuck, whatever. Flip it. Rewrite it with purpose and preparation and like growth in mind. Like, ask what might this time of my life or this season be preparing me for? Write both versions down. Notice how different you feel in your body when you write those out. For parents, that exhausting phase of a toddler tantrum or teen drama, like, you're not stuck. You're really mastering emotional regulation or conflict resolution, the art of unconditional love, all in real time. That's next level leadership and emotional training that no one can really go by. For entrepreneurs, if your business feels heavy or uncertain, try this. Like, hey, I'm not failing. I'm being refined. Like, you're learning how to problem solve under pressure and build resilience and create systems that scale. Once again, they're not setbacks. They're the reps you need to be a successful business person. And for employees, that job that feels off and might still be like, it might feel off, but it's sharpening your gifts still, right? The tough team dynamics, the complex problems, like, they're teaching you to collaboration, communication, problem solving at scale. Some of the jobs I have disliked the most in my life, I use skills from still to this day. It wasn't wasted time. It's not wasted time for you. It's preparation in disguise. Now, here's the kicker. There's tons of the psychology and science that backs this up. People who can reframe their challenges that are happening as growth experiences consistently report higher life satisfaction and more resilience. So this isn't some woo-woo concept, it's actual brain science. Brain science, go with that, I guess. You don't have to wait for your circumstances to change before you start feeling purpose again. Flip the script a little bit. You get to be the narrator of your life, and when you tell the better story, you're going to start living a better experience without changing a single thing. Now, our fifth principle is there's this the fifth final one is this wonder reset. How to reawaken awe and beauty in the life that you already have. And I love this one. This is one of my favorite principles to talk about, and I've done whole videos on just this idea. It's one of the first things we lose in adulthood is our sense of wonder. When you were a kid, the world was full of magic. Mud puddles, moonlight, cardboard boxes became rocket ships, But somewhere between the carpool lines, the client meetings, wonder gets buried under the weight of the responsibility that we have. And most of us start believing that awe is reserved for the big moments, vacations, the mountaintops, bucket list events, when in reality, it is hiding in plain sight. And the good news is the wonder, it's not gone. It's just waiting for you to look at it again. Even tiny moments of awe can boost your mood. It can lower stress. It can increase your sense to your connection, your purpose, and your authenticity to who you are. But it doesn't happen by accident. You have to train your brain to notice it. Let beauty interrupt your default mode, because when you start getting into the busyness and the chaos, or into some sort of if you're feeling burnout, overwhelmed, our brains go into this survival mode. And it's filtering out this stuff. It's honestly not even letting you see it. And so you have to change that default mode, the programming in your brain. And so here's some ways that you do that, okay? The first is set a wonder alert on your phone, right? Once a day, it goes off and you're just gonna take 60 seconds. That's just 1 minute of your entire day. Just stop what you're doing and ask yourself, what around me could be amazing if I actually paid attention to it? I mean, we could play this exercise right now. If I stopped and I sat and I looked around right here, something that is absolutely amazing to me is right behind my camera, I've got soundproof tiles, and they've got these awesome shapes in them, light and shadow. And it's one of those things I'm man, if I were a better drawer, painter, whatever, I would love to capture this type of light and shadow. And what I love is not only how it does that, but it casts across my wall. I said, you can't see it, it's behind you. But it's just taking those moments to notice something amazing, something wonderful that's right there in front of you. It's just 1 minute. What around me could be amazing if I just paid attention to it. Maybe it's the engineering behind the coffee maker. Maybe it's the way your child's laugh can just cut through all the chaos and noise. The fact that your legs are still carrying you through, and the demand-packed day that you have. The way your teammate just helped solve a problem without even being asked. The tree outside your window, and how it's its own quiet miracle of change, whatever that may look like. I mean, gosh, parents, slow down during bedtime stories, or snack prep. Watch your kid's face light up with curiosity. Let it be a reminder that wonder isn't something you outgrow, it's something you pass down. For entrepreneurs, stop and marvel at what you've built. It's not just about the big milestones, but the trust, the teamwork, the idea that turned into impact. Let that quiet awe refuel you. And if you're an employee, zoom out. The emails, the projects, the daily grind, whatever. It's all part of a much bigger picture of human collaboration. You're part of something that's moving, that's something that's creating, something that didn't exist before you showed up. Because when awe wakes up, it reminds you that your life, even in the middle of laundry or meetings, routines, whatever, is still a gift. It's beautiful, a complex and miraculous gift right in front of you. And once you spot it, you see that wonder again, you'll start feeling so much more alive, more connected, more grateful, not because anything massive changed, but because you're finally started noticing what's been there all along. Okay, the magic, it's been here. It's right there in front of you. I promise you, it's been there all along. Go check out the other videos we have that talk about, wonder and delight and finding joy in your life, because I dive into this principle so deep. So I want to make sure some of these things are connecting with you as we're going through it. Extraordinary life you're chasing, it's not waiting down the road at some bigger job or the cleaner house or more exciting schedule. It's woven into the fabric of the life you have right now. It's in the conversations that like you almost rush through, the work you started to tune out, the people you show up for every single day. These things we talked about, these principles that we walked through, aren't about like settling with where you're at or lowering your bar. They're about waking up to like what's already working, what's already beautiful, what's already meaningful, even if it doesn't look flashy or Instagram worthy. It isn't about making your life look extraordinary. It's just about realizing that, damn it, it already is. It's so extraordinary. And you don't need to blow your life up to feel fulfilled. You know, you don't need a brand new direction to feel purposeful. And you definitely don't need everything to be perfect to start feeling proud of like how you're showing up. You know, what I've learned, not just in my own story, but like coaching people who felt stuck and they're in survival mode or buried in the routines that felt dull or invisible, is like the people who feel the most alive aren't the ones doing the biggest things. They're the ones who have learned to see how the beauty is showing up every single day. They've trained themselves to recognize their gifts and activate how present they are, change the story they're telling themselves, and all while finding like life is still going to be a little messy, but they can find those things in the middle of it. And listen, your family, your team, your community, whatever, like they don't need you to be the superhero. Like they just need you to show up authentically, present, aligned, owning your gifts and living with intention. That alone makes you extraordinary. You are the only person that has your combined gifts, natural skills, talent, superpowers, and experiences. You are the only person in the world who can make the impact that you can make. I promise you that. There is no one else that has the same combination as you. And if you approach life in that way, my goodness, you can provide so much value and love and impact and influence on the people around you, deepen your relationships, and you will live more fulfilled and have more energy every single day. You know, so let this be a reminder, your coffee like ritual, that team huddle, school pickup run, like the spreadsheet, the side hustle you're doing, the late night kid meltdowns, like whatever it is, they all hold potential for something deeper. You're not just managing chaos, you're building a life, one that already like counts right where you're at right now. And so you don't have to choose between like this, like living a fulfilled life or choosing to grow. Like do both. You know, you can chase your goals and be present in the moment. You can stretch towards that next thing without missing what's right here. And so if you want to dive deeper into this, if you want to rediscover these gifts, make real impact and like find your footing in the middle of where you already are, then that's where you're going to go grab yourself a copy of The Giver Method. Like I said, it's on Amazon. I'll put a link in the description. Like it's packed with the practical ways to help you stop sleepwalking your way through life and start leading from it, from the inside out. And then, like I mentioned at the beginning of the video, if you need someone in your corner, someone cheering you along, someone who's walked the same path as you, help you apply this to your real life, then check out the link down below that talks about the one-on-one coaching that we have. We have a few spots, check it out. And then if you have a team, a group, a host-based podcast, event, whatever, people gather, they want to grow, let's talk about how we can bring this message to them. You know, this kind of shift, it doesn't just change individuals, it changes communities. And of course, if this video helped you see like maybe, hey, current life through some sort of a new lens, then drop a comment and tell me what principle hit the hardest. I read the comments. It helps me know what to create the next thing and how I serve you better. And of course, like the video, subscribe to the channel, and hit that bell so that you do not miss out on the next video, because I drop videos every single week. And I want to make sure that like all of you, like there's so many good, gifted people out there waiting for life to feel big enough before they allow themselves to feel fulfilled. And I want to change that. I want to get this in front of people. So feel free to share the video with people as well. Feel free to check us out on all the other social channels, Facebook, TikTok, Instagram, LinkedIn, or thegivermethod.com. Remember, you're not behind, you're not stuck, you're not broken. There's nothing wrong with you. You're just a human. But you are living an extraordinary life that's in disguise. And the more that you slow down and pay attention to it, the more that you will actually start to see it. The magic's not missing. It's been here the whole time, and it's just waiting for you to realize it and to really start to tap into it so you can make the greater impact in your world. Thank you so much for joining me today. And with that, I'll just say have a great rest of your day, and we will catch you in our next video.